don't know, now you know. You better get yourself in the flow. And if you don't think that you can, you better find Rob Rant. The Rob Rant Show. The Rob Rant Show. And if you don't know, now you know. The Rob Rant Show. The Rob Rant Show. And if you don't know, now you know. This is Rob Bell. And this is Rob's Rant. We are in dire straits in this world, especially in the United States. You know, in the age of COVID-19 that put us in a situation and helped develop the pandemic, we are now experiencing the Delta variant. Our economy is poor. We are working in low-wage jobs. Unemployment seems to be surging again. People refuse to get vaccinated. There are no available hospital beds across the country. There's not enough police officers and boots on the ground, and a shortage of police 911 dispatchers. Violence in our communities, especially the black community, is out of control. Homelessness across the country is out of control. Many politicians, although they beg to be elected into office, now that they're in, are losing their minds. And on a personal note, I am going through some serious health issues. My health is slowly diminishing. Because of my diabetes, I have high blood pressure. I have, I'm being treated for that. I have high cholesterol, being treated for that. Being treated for an irregular heartbeat. I have neuropathy. And just found out that I have an issue with my liver, which has caused chronic fatigue and has put me in a position to be tired almost on a consistent basis. I take blood thinners, and it's just not a good situation for me personally. I may look good on the outside, but this body on the inside is not churning as well as it needs to. But I digress, because this is not about me. This is about the state of the world and the state of America. This pandemic and Delta variant is throwing us back on our behinds. And people who are refusing to take the vaccine and wear their mask are really putting everybody else in bad shape, in poor positions. And, you know, we are urging people to be smart about it, to look at the science, to have some faith in the medical folks, and think about your fellow man. But oh no, everybody wants to be selfish and rely on their own situations. They lean on their religion, they lean on pre-existing conditions, they pull a rabbit out of their hat with a whole host of reasons why they don't want to take the vaccine. Meanwhile, when you look on the news, people are dying literally in front of your face. There are not enough hospital beds in America because people are dying. We're going right back to where we started. If we ever have any hope for trying to get through this thing, we got to listen to what the people are telling us to do. Why is it so difficult for people to understand that? I'm not sure. So in the midst of all that, the president goes over to Afghanistan and pulls the troops out, which I think is a great thing. But at the same time, he's bringing Afghanistan refugees over to America. Do we need that? Why do they got to come here? Why do we always got to be the country who saves everybody? What bothers me more about that is that when the Haitians went through their experience with the earthquake, I didn't see a sense of urgency of the United States rushing over there. to pull any Haitian refugees over to America and putting them in a better situation. They just let them fend for themselves. The poorest country in the world. Why? Because they're people of color. And people of color suffer, not only here in the United States, but all over the world. So the United States turned their back on the Haitian folks. They dropped a few care packages to them. They sent a few troops over there to help them navigate themselves through the earthquake, but they didn't bring them to America. Not with the same sense of urgency they did with the Afghanistan people, because America always wants to put itself in situations where they're politically correct and politically nice to people. And it was a blunder on the president's part. So this is his way of trying to make nice. On the home front, people are, experiencing working in low-wage jobs. And I guess there's been an attempt to increase the minimum wage from, $7+ to $15. $15 an hour is not enough money for anybody to take care of a family. And that may sound good, that may look good, and it may sound better than $7 an hour, but $15 is just not enough. And they wonder why they can't get people to come back to work. I read something down here in Atlanta where there was a McDonald's in northern Georgia that was offering $31 an hour for you to come and work as an employee at McDonald's. Well, that may be a little something, but there's no way in hell the government is going to get his back behind paying workers $31 an hour. And so they struggle with the $15 an hour. So we continue to have people out there that are working, that are what I call the working poor. In contrast to that, there's not enough employers out there that have enough workers to sustain their businesses. And so we're moving into another situation where businesses, especially small businesses, are going to go out of business because they simply don't have enough workers. And so to that tune, I received information that the Philadelphia Police Department is supposed to have 6,000 plus officers on their force. And as a result of today's numbers, they're short by about 250 officers. And we wonder why the violence is still persistent in Philadelphia. There's not enough cops out there. And in conjunction with that, the 911 dispatchers are short by about 200 workers. So when you call 911, you may get a business signal. You may get a recorded message that tells you to call back, or you might not even get anybody to pick up the phone at all. Can you imagine that? Being in an emergency situation, and all your lives, you've been taught that when it gets tough, call 911. And you call 911 when you got blood gushing out of your head, or your child just fell out of a tree, or got hit by a car, or somebody just shot somebody, and you call 911, and you get a recorded message that says, call back. Or nobody answers the phone at all. You don't get any emergency response at all, because we are short 911 dispatchers. Not only is that happening in Philadelphia, it's happening down here in Atlanta, Georgia. We're about 250 police officers short, and about 175 to 200 911 dispatchers short. Same situation. When you call 911, nobody picks up, you get a recorded message, or they tell you to call back. We're talking about emergency situations with people's lives. And we've been indoctrinated for most of our lives to call 911 when we get in trouble. When we do that, nothing happens. Commissioner Outlaw got on the news the other day and says, don't worry about it, just be persistent, keep calling back, and at some point, somebody will answer the phone. Are you serious? When we call 911, we expect somebody to answer that phone immediately because we got an immediate situation. But these are the times that we live in. And under all that, violence continues to be out of control. There was a flood in Philadelphia that damaged thousands of homes in the Delaware Valley. And in the midst of all that water, the thugs were still out there shooting and killing people. I would think that when I woke up that morning and seen that Philadelphia was underwater, at least the violence would stop. Oh, no. There were still shootings during the flood situation in Philadelphia. That just goes to show you that the criminal element in Philadelphia is just into this whole lawlessness kind of attitude. And they know that there are not enough police officers out there. There are not enough of these crimes being solved. And they're just going about their business of killing people in the same way that they've done for the last several months. And all we're doing is sitting back saying, oh, the murder rate in Philadelphia is probably going to exceed the 499 homicide numbers that it did last year. We'll go over that by some. And we continue to take this kind of reactive attitude and not a proactive attitude, despite the fact that there are tons of money being funneled into Philadelphia for violence protection. And I have yet to see any strategies or any programs that have attached itself to that money to try to help stop some of this violence. Now, I don't think, or I'm not as naive to believe that all the violence is going to be stopped, but where's that money going? Is there an effort being made to at least help try to slow down some of the violence? A 10-year-old girl just got shot the other day. A girl got shot outside of Philadelphia at a football game in Delaware County, which is close to Philadelphia. And I probably would suspect that the people who did it may be from Philadelphia. Who knows? But where are the dollars going to try to help slow down some of the violence? It's a brave indifference to humanity by the criminals, but it's also a brave indifference to the everyday citizen by the people who are responsible for making our lives safe. And nothing is being done, and the beat continues to go on. The other issue is this homeless situation, especially down here in downtown Atlanta. I work in downtown Atlanta, and I work public safety. And a large part of my job is to try to abate the homeless situation and the panhandlers that frequent the downtown area. And it is exasperating. We have some $50 million plus to help the homeless in Atlanta, Georgia. And again, I don't see where any of the money is going to any of the programs to try to help these people. Everywhere you go in downtown Atlanta, you will see a homeless person sleeping on a sidewalk, on a cardboard box, under a tent, up against a tree, in a park. Everywhere. You see people standing on just about every corner panhandling with cups in their hands, and when you don't give them money, they get outraged. And to make matters worse, we got people coming down here feeding these people every day, all day, putting them into situations where they don't feel like they need to go to a shelter or feel like they need to get help, because all they got to do is just sit around and wait for somebody to come and feed them. You got to stop that. I know you got a good heart and you want to do something good, but all you're doing is exasperating the situation, and you're making it worse by bringing them food down to the area. Come on, people, stop it. Because this homeless situation is really getting out of hand. And I'm sure that Atlanta is just one city in America where that is becoming an issue, or has become an issue, or is an issue. We got to get better with this. We are living in some turbulent times right now. And it seems like our government, local, state, and federal, have lost control over just about everything that puts us as everyday regular citizens to have a natural, good quality of life. There's nowhere that we can go where we feel comfortable. We can't travel. We can't navigate through our respective cities or towns. We can't go out for entertainment without the fear of something crazy happening to us. And if Big Brother can't take care of us, we are going to be forced to take care of ourselves. And to some people, what that means is carrying weapons. And if that happens, then we might as well just be living in the Wild Wild West. we might as well become a Gunsmoke episode. In the meantime, the crazy governor in Texas is saying that if you get an abortion, I'm going to fine you $10,000. So no matter how you get pregnant, it's on you. If you get raped and get pregnant, so what? You got to have the baby, because if you get an abortion, I'm going to fine you $10,000. And guess what? If somebody takes you to get an abortion, they're going to get fined $10,000. What the hell is going on in this country? We are just losing our minds. You know, in the age of technology and growing and moving forward, we are just sticking our foot in a big pile of doo-doo. You better get better with this, America, because if you don't, you're going to continually hear Rob Bell, and you're going to hear my Rob's Rant. Let's get better with this. This is Rob Bell, and this is Rob's Rant.
If you don't know, now you know. You better get yourself in the flow. And if you don't think that you can, you better find Rob Rant. The Rob Rant Show. The Rob Rant Show. And if you don't know, now you know.